Good afternoon, I'm Ghost Williams, and welcome to Black Father.
Black Father, the mini-series. Streaming every Sunday at 2 p.m. on Facebook Live. This mini-series is an attempt to bring more respect, more truth, more love and accountability into the home of the Black family and community. Black Father will help with a multitude of issues. Black Father, streaming every Sunday at 2 p.m. on Facebook Live. Black Father, the mini-series.
Our community seems to be in the most state of disarray when it comes to what's going on with our youth and
Definitely.
the rate we are losing them left and right. But anyway, one of the reasons for this live is because there's so much that needs to be shared. And this is the format that we really need to get to. A lot of you know me and know my partners here that are pillars in the community as well. We're here in Ocala, Florida, which is Central Florida, but this topic that we're talking about is relevant in every city, in every state in our nation, because we really have something going that needs some attention. I grew up in an age where there was a lot more expected of a child. My children and my grandchild, my granddaughter's growing up in an age where TikTok is running everything. So this is a little bit to address that. I want to start by saying the reason that the first episode is titled Black Nonsense really has to do with all of the mistakes I personally made as a Black father. And that's not to say there's any perfection here, because I'm still making mistakes, but I attempt not to make the same ones.
Definitely.
So with that, I am going to say, open up the discussion to see what you all think about the tug of war between being a Black father and making money, which has become a lot of our, I don't want to say a new god, but it's kind of running a lot of stuff in the household and society that today our community and a lot of our Black males have to work extra hard. I don't care if you're in the street, I don't care if you got a regular job, I don't care if you own your own business. You have to work twice as hard to make the same money as our counterparts that are not with the same struggle. So long story short, I didn't realize when I was young, and we all come from getting money all day, every day, 7 days a week, no days off, G.
Yeah, exactly.
That was taking away from my seeds,
Right.
my children, my daughters, my sons, because they really need you, Black father, they need your time. And I know it's a delicate balance about the trade-off of making money and being a father, but I want G to touch on that because he's familiar with that balance and how important that balance is when it comes to raising children. Because we think, in my case, I thought if I just throw them money at them and iPads and make sure the mothers have everything they need, it was going to be okay. But now I'm starting to see, as they're turning out with some real deficiencies, that they needed me in their lifetime wise even more than I was given. And you know about that balance.
The balance is basically, it squats out to your, what's your obligation?
Yes.
We're obligated to so much in the segments of time during the course of a day. We have to, because we have so many distractions.
Yes, sir.
It's just simply distractions in the course of a day.
Definitely.
From the moment we wake up, our own visions being taken each way by emotions and things that we can't control, and knowing that they have a life that we have to contribute to daily.
Yes.
And there is a balance there, and it's all about obligation, and not. It's just obligation and timing, and being able to balance it all, and knowing that as a father, the biggest one of the biggest things that a son actually feels obligated to is making his dad proud.
Which is an emotion, and I'm glad you touched on that.
It's
because,
making your father proud.
yeah, that emotion is powerful.
as well as the reciprocal energy is being celebrated as well. You know, so the obligation to plant seeds, watch what your kids are interested in, invest the time and actually talk to them. Like mine play football right now, so camps.
Yes.
It's not about the money really, it's just about making sure that everything that we can actually give them the opportunity to do, that we give them that, and we
Yes.
make sure that we're on point, you know,
Yes, sir.
and just not getting lost
Right.
in the distractions over and over each day,
Right.
because it's time that we lose.
Yes.
And some of these mistakes, they're costly.
Very.
They're
The price of making a mistake in this
is
generation.
over, right?
Way higher
Yeah,
than
it's,
what we
it's
made
inflated
mistakes.
right now. Yeah, so you
Yeah.
got to so you make those mistakes, and as young black men, they're very costly because they damage their name.
Yes.
And as we all know, our name precedes us; it goes ahead of us before we
Definitely.
can
We
step
talking
into any room.
Records, criminal records.
That's right.
Credit, your credit history. This is what he's talking about, damaging your name.
Damaging your
name is
name.
important in this society.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Damon over here has taken care of many of our sons coming from juvenile detention, children and families, Devereaux, kids. A major piece of healing in our community when it comes to mental health, counseling, and just a great mentor, period. So I definitely want to get your take on what you think the correct balance is between making money, providing for your family, and being an in-home father or even uncle or grandfather where you're giving time to the youth and giving time to your offspring, setting that right example.
I think like one of the biggest mistakes we make is thinking that we've got to continuously make money. We gotta provide, we gotta provide, we gotta provide. While that is a definite thing that we have to do,
I'm guilty.
the worst thing that we're doing is not providing time. Because we're away from home so much, we're away. That was a mistake of mine. You know, one of the things that I tell people all the time, you know, you look at a person like me who works with the system itself, and you automatically think, oh, well, you wouldn't understand because you work for the system. You ain't never gone through stuff like we go through. Oh, trust them. I believe that everybody has some type of trauma.
Right.
And we gotta understand as men that not only does your family need you to provide for them financially, they need you to provide time as well. A child is not going to remember what you bought for them at the age of 1 and 2 years old, but they're going to remember the time you spent with them at the park.
Yeah.
They're going to remember the time that you sat down and had an opportunity to talk to them and get a better understanding of what's going on in their world. One of the biggest things we can offer our children is an open door. Having an opportunity to talk to them and them talk to you. Yes, we're not going to like everything they say. We ain't going to want to hear everything they say. No parent, man or woman, wants to hear their child say, hey, you know, I need to talk to you about sex. I'm interested in this. Or my friend came to me and offered me drugs.
Right.
No parent wants to hear that, because the first order of defense is to become defensive and protect. Versus sitting down and saying, so what's going on? You know, is there something you want to talk to me about? Or, you know, how can I help you balance this thing out? Because that's what they need. They need the conversation that opens up the door
Yes.
to help them understand. Because if we don't teach them the right way first,
Right.
when they go outside, because we yelling and we screaming and we going in on them about, you know, what they brought to us, they ain't gonna want to talk to us.
Right.
They're gonna go and talk to the teacher that may or may not give them good advice. Because even though they're professionals and, you know, outside, or people that do good outside, don't mean there's not people that do bad outside. So all the information that they may get may not be great information. What they're looking for is something within to say, hey, that's not a good idea. Now this is why that's not a good idea. Don't be afraid to open up your personal trauma and say, hey, I went through this. Because, contrary to belief, children don't seem to think we went through nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
Because we make it look easy.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And they get that confused
we
with
lay that down
what we've been through.
Yeah. They get confused when it's gonna be handed
We
to
make
them.
it
Yes,
look
we
real
open that
easy,
door.
man. Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
you just said we make it easy.
Yeah.
We open up the doorway for what society is doing now. We open up the door. Because we painted this easy picture for them of, you know, hey, the bill's gonna always be paid. Hey, this
But
will
you
always
know
be
what?
done.
But see there's the sweet spot because I'm hearing sweet spot talk a little bit because it's sweet spot talk because it's a balance between it all.
Yes.
Because the traditional way of thinking that I'm here amongst you guys. I'm in my 40s now, so there are traditional ways that we think, and there are things that's going on that I know were close to non-traditional.
Yeah.
So when there is a balance, because even for my boys, it's like I don't identify as poor. I don't know what I identify as. But like you said, they don't have to worry about
Exactly.
nothing.
No.
So and it's
But
like
we gonna figure out a
but
way.
that burden of having worry actually pushes you forward.
Yeah.
I've seen what kids who have less go farther.
Right.
Okay, now watch this.
So
What I grew up with was poverty.
right.
Okay? I brought poverty into my family because of my upbringing. I didn't know any different. So when I got my family, when my lights got turned off, it was nothing for me.
Right.
My wife would sit there and be like, dude, what are we doing?
Right.
Me, it was like,
With the candles.
we could light a candle, bill will be paid tomorrow, we'll be all right. My wife continuously beat me in my chest like, hey, I need you to wake up because this is not your childhood.
Right.
You're bringing your childhood traumas into your family, into your children's reality. So I was creating a level of trauma for them when I didn't have to.
Let me jump in and say that brings us to an excellent point. One of the reasons we're even here today is because if you have a black business and you're a black entrepreneur like you are, and you don't get the support of your own people, let me say that one more again.
Say it so all
You
you I got a
don't-
camera.
You don't get the support
Yeah.
of your own people. If your own people are not supporting you as a black businessman, but they'll support the person right next to you that's not quite in our community, it kind of disheartens you. And this comes back to the balance you talking about it with the kids. One of the reasons I have to work all the time is because I don't have the support of all of my people. If I did, I would work half the time
That's right.
that I work. We, individuals that have black businesses, we would work half the time if we had the support of each other.
Yes.
Our own black economy in this country supports everyone else but us.
Yeah.
Now, I got to exclude Atlanta, a couple little small places, but
Florida's a different type of animal.
my point is, when you support each other, then everything falls back into balance. If he's supporting my dream and I'm supporting his dream, and we are both supporting his dream,
Everybody
the
It
money
washes
is
out.
flowing.
That's right.
You're
Everybody's
making $2,000 or $3,000 a week. You making $800 a week. I don't care what you make, but you take 20% of that or 25% of that, and you go to the black business that you're going to support. I don't care what it is. Gigi's Soul Food, the barbershop,
Yeah.
whatever we happen to have. We have a
But you
black
put into
online showroom here.
You
You
put
put
into it.
back into yourselves. And this is something I was not taught.
No.
Now, most of us have not been raised correctly. And I'm just going to put that right out there.
Gotcha.
A lot of black men right now today have feminine traits. And that's no diss to my black women because you know I love them. Straight up, you know I love them. But we have feminine traits with our males because they've been forced to spend so much time with the mom because the dad is forced to be out here working 3 jobs or got 3 hustles to try to add up to a regular one. These feminine traits come out. You gentlemen both know it is the male's way of reasoning.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to tear down any females, but when you see a female slap another female, the males have taken on this trait. They want to fight about everything.
Right.
And now they don't want to fight. What they want to do?
Pull guns.
They want to shoot.
Right.
So you want to escalate the war before you even get to, let me understand your perspective and you understand mine.
But that
This is
also
where
has
the
a
black
lot-
father comes in and has to step in and say, hey, this is not how you handle things.
There you go.
This is
That-
not how you
That has a
do
lot
it.
to do with the level of communication. We as black parents grew up in a world where we didn't talk.
My second mistake right there, I did not communicate with my sons or my daughters as much because I had given them everything and given their mothers quite a bit to where they're a little bit entitled. And I figured, oh, they're fine. All these kids out in the hood ain't got nobody. I need to be speaking to them. Mistake.
Yeah.
Take care of home first. And I had to learn that a
Wait,
little
wait,
bit
wait,
further
wait.
on than I should. I should have
Wait.
learned it a lot. So, young black father,
Please talk. Talk.
don't
to
put
your
money over
children.
your kids. Communicate to your
children.
kids. My first two mistakes, I made them honestly. Go ahead, bro.
The greatest thing we can give our kids and our families is the understanding of positive communication. Understanding that what we're here to do is to grow together.
Yes.
I'll tell anybody, when my children, when my sons were small, oh, I was the dynamic dad. I did it all.
Right.
Right.
As my kids got older, I got into the understanding of working hard and working harder, and the job required more of me, so I stayed at work more.
Yes.
Then, not to mention, fathers, I hate to give it to you like this, but we can't forget and act like it doesn't exist. The outside nonsense that goes on within us, other than work, that keeps us from home.
So
Now we got to figure out a way how to pull ourselves back in. I had to understand that me pulling myself back in meant me telling my sons and my daughters, I'm sorry.
Right.
Ooh.
right.
So, my story, a piece of my little personal story is, I was raised by my dad. My parents got a divorce, and when my mom moved away, I actually stayed with my father. And one of the main things, all of my friends, the people that know him, he coached football for about 22 years in Lake City.
Okay.
So all of the guys that went professional and it had any type of stake in basketball or football, they all came through him. And I from the day I was born all the way up until I was grown and left Lake City, I watched him groom myself and other young men. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Blessing.
Yes. And the thing about it was, some of those guys didn't have dads.
Right.
Some of the guys that I'm really close to right now, some of their words are, your dad was, I was, he was the person that I felt like I needed to make proud of me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the part of being a dad is really holding the boys or your daughters accountable. Accountability coach.
Yes.
That boy.
See, we have them as adults,
Yes, sir.
but in the realm of kids, we have to, accountability is because we get away from it.
Yeah.
Because we give them stuff to keep them occupied while we doing what we doing, and
Right.
that doesn't come with accountability. That just come with, can you keep up with your charger? You know what I'm saying? Like, so we, accountability as far as, I didn't get to sleep late on the weekends. I had to wake up, rake yards, cut grass. We stay in the
Yeah.
country, so it was a matter of, you finna get up this morning, and you got something to do.
Right.
Between work and the hustle, there's no sleep.
No, it's yard out here that you gotta, you know what I'm saying?
That's it.
So, holding accountability and being praised by your dad is one of the most highest things that you could ever have.
Man, I can't
Straight
count.
up.
I can't tell you how I reached for that. I can't tell you how. Now, you were raised by your dad. I was raised, my brother now, by our mother. And what I'll say to that is, when you're raised in a single parent home, father or mother, really doesn't matter, there's a component missing. There's a component missing in your growth and development.
Right.
I don't care which side you stand on.
Right.
There is a component missing.
Definitely.
If you're raised by your father, you're raised with a disciplinary thought process.
All day long.
You're not raised with the nurturing thought
Right.
process.
At all.
When you're raised by your mother, you're raised with the nurturing thought process,
Right.
not so much the disciplinarian thought process.
Right.
Although she had to be one of both,
Right.
and had to be a little harder.
And she a little edgy, cause you know, she a little edgy, right? Yeah,
You seem to be your
Yeah.
mentality,
right.
for lack of better words, tends to be somewhat bipolar.
Well, because she has,
You don't know.
has to act outside of her natural, right?
exactly.
That's not why she's here. That's not her place.
This is part of the black nonsense.
Right? Yeah,
Having to choose
Yeah.
which side. You either had
Yeah.
your mother or you had your father. Now, in my case, gentlemen, I didn't have either one of those. Now, I had my mother to a certain extent through the younger years.
Right.
But we know through the mistakes being made and the feds coming, when you don't have either one of those, now you kind of looking, in the first place we would look to for some answers was the street.
Yeah.
Who making some money? Who got some clout? Who is that dude?
Right.
And that's where I come from. So now, of course, I'm following the lost. The lost leading the lost.
Right.
We all in the ditch.
Right.
So,
and this is where we really, the ball gets dropped. Because as we get older, we try to figure out what pieces I need to put back in the puzzle.
We have to change what's being
The
celebrated.
generational curse has to be cut.
And we got to change what's being celebrated.
There you go.
so all of these things coming together, the Black Father series is not just about the issues, it's about the solutions. So we're going to switch
growth.
gears, and I'm going to give you a little piece of something that's starting to work in my family with my younger kids, because I have, for those of you who don't know, I have younger kids and I have older kids. Both have a 2-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 14-year-old on the younger side. I also have a granddaughter. When I mentioned the TikTok thing, when we first kind of came on, and how social media and YouTube is just running their lives, and you can tell your son or daughter, when they're young, oh, this is how you wash the dish, and this is how you clean this, and they'll go to YouTube and say, oh, no, Daddy,
no.
that's not how you
That's
do it.
not right.
That's right here.
That's not what I saw.
So now sometimes, there's a healthy balance, because we all can learn a little something. I'm learning something every day. But I have taken the electronics from my younger children, except for 2 hours a day. Now they can have an hour during the day, an hour in the evening.
I'm surprised
But
your house ain't blown up.
I control the Wi-Fi, so,
There it is.
it's Wi-Fi or die.
Right. Either or. Yeah,
Straight
there's
up.
no sweet spot.
So
Right.
kind of like maybe our parents here and there might have done the TV when we were younger.
Yeah.
They felt like you just in there all day.
But no, TV
But
went off at midnight.
we definitely need to monitor what your kids are looking at if they're under the age of 15, 16,
Definitely.
11, 8, 10. Because kids got phones now, what, 4?
4 years
4
old.
years old, they're on the phone. And they know how to come get your phone and turn
Well,
it
not
on.
only that, but
Well,
kids
I
need
think
to
the
walk down
algorithm
street.
don't really allow you to monitor that. I mean, you either going to
No,
buy
no,
them
no.
a tablet that's completely
When I say
offline.
monitor, I
Yeah,
mean,
because it's so hard.
You
They see
no
videos.
locks on the kids' phone. You better get that phone and go and see what's happening. And even while they're on it, you might look in or
Right.
come
Yeah.
over close
Yeah,
to what's
that
going
phone
on.
is just
And we hadn't
dangerous,
been doing
man.
that. But
Yeah.
the solution to that is pay attention to the intake that's coming in. Because you used to just have to worry about what your kids were learning in school.
Now you
Now
gotta
you
worry about
got to
what's
learn
coming
about
in,
that.
along with school.
You got to learn about that prince of the air. So we all know that everything is a spiritual warfare.
So like when you're saying, you got to learn about the tricks of the trade with that. I'll encourage all parents, please, please, please learn as much as you can about the outside language, the text language
Yes.
that your children are speaking with. You can look it up online. There's a bunch of different documents that talk about text languages. Also understand that there are back doors to apps.
Right.
And I'm talking to those
Backdoor
that-
means the app will say one thing, it'll
and
do
it means
another.
something else. Your kid may have a calculator. Maybe, I'm just typing in. I'm looking up some just some numbers, and there, it works as a calculator. You may check it yourself, and it works as a calculator. They put in a certain code, and it opens up
A whole nother file.
a whole other file that has pictures, text messages,
Right.
emails, this private stuff that they don't want you to know about.
So
You got to be aware of these things.
one thing, monitor what your kids are doing electronically, what they're spending their time on, what they're focused on, and what their likes are. Number 2, and G touched on us a little bit earlier, when you make a decision, don't make that decision from a place of emotions. Now, you have to center yourself somewhat in the fruits of the spirit and then make your decision. Don't discipline your child when you're angry.
Okay, let me touch on that.
Please come on in.
You got to understand something. 9 times out of 10, abuse happens in the right then moment. Okay? Now, a lot of times, child abuse ain't happening off of just, I just hate my kid. A lot of times, child abuse happens, or abuse, or some type of effect of emotions happen in the right then moment when your kid has done something to push you over the edge, or your quick response and you spank or you react out of anger, and next thing you know, you done launched something, or your kid is laying on the floor and it's like, oh my God, what did I just do?
And let me jump in real quick and interject and say abuse is not just physical. We're
No.
just ain't talking about somebody
No.
beating somebody
Verbal,
or doing something.
mental, emotional.
Mental abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, all these things count because you're making up a little person, a little king or a little queen. Now, the European school system has taught a lot of our children that they come from chains. Now, and I'm not deterring that fact, even though they're trying to whitewash some of it out of the books and everything now. I get that slavery existed, slavery did its thing. A lot of us were brought over here, our ancestors were brought over here against our will. But if you teach a people that they come from chains, they're gonna act like animals. And this is exactly what's going on in every city,
Yeah.
in every state. When it comes to our community, they're acting like animals. But the reverse and the solution of that is to teach them where they really came from, where our ancestors really were. Kings,
communication.
queens, geniuses, mathematicians, astrologists,
Can I
scientists.
say something?
Come on in, bro.
So, I try to be honest about, at the rate of just us having this discussion, when we cut everything off, we had a discussion.
Yes, sir.
Now, the action that comes behind the discussion, whether it reached somebody, whether we were able to create a new way of thinking, whether something you said that stuck or something you said,
Right.
and something somebody took away from it, that in the moment,
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
they were able to kind of hear our voice, maybe.
Yeah,
Right.
back up. a little
There's a sweet spot because keeping people's attention is the thing.
bit.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Layers of where you think and know and what we can conversate on in the back room,
Yes, sir.
that is layers.
Yes, sir.
Some of these layers are so because in certain spaces you get more out of just the energy of being around a person than what's not said versus having conversation and what
Yeah.
can be verbally.
Yes.
So, like I just said a moment ago, what we celebrate, we could because in a sense that's a layer. We got to get them interested and have their attention long enough to even make them want to know about that particular layer.
Yes, sir.
So we're really, like I said, we're fighting against distractions
Right.
and attention span.
Yes.
Yeah.
So attention span, distractions, what's important that we really just need you for a moment to try to get through to you.
So you're saying I could go on TikTok for 5 seconds and say, you come from a civilization called the Moors, and they gonna want to.
And really you'll get further along.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
honestly. So that's why I said record this on because it's the segments of this stuff
Yes, sir.
that can be used because we only have that much time
Yes.
to really say something
Yeah.
to have them to engage because without the engagement now we're forcing it on.
Right.
Family. You want to talk about building a house?
I thought the women was the backbone.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
I'm just
The
messing with you,
father
bro.
is the foundation
Thank
of
you.
the family
Thank you.
in general and in God.
In God. Yes, sir.
God placed that in. Bottom line, that's it.
There it is.
We are the foundation. Mothers, extremely important, are the structure of the home.
There it is.
Not the wall, not the roof. The mother is the structure. That framework, that all that wiring and them cables and all that gets stuffed into. Why? Because they compartmentalize everything. They
Yes,
put
sir.
everything in the right place and where it's supposed to go, where it's supposed to mean to this. I know what that is. I know what this is.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
why can I go get this? Hold on, it's back here.
They know
They know
what it's
exactly where it is and what it's meant for. They are the structure of the home.
Hold
The
on.
children make the house.
Hold on, let me interject because we on black nonsense. Let me give you some black nonsense. My big mama, my grandmama in Alabama, when I needed to know something and I was about 11 years old, boy, big mama knew it all. Knew exactly how to say, baby, don't worry about this. Take your time with her. Don't let her tell you anything. She gonna come around. Don't cry. How old is big mama right now, G?
Oh, big mama in her
Mama
early
be
40s.
112 right now.
Nowadays, big
Now,
mama,
big
nowadays,
mama-
grandma,
right now,
grandma
Hey,
is
it's-
38 years old.
Right, right, no, right.
Oh, yeah. So that's not a tear down, that's just to say
And I'm
it's
not
a
knocking.
different. So
I'm not
continue.
knocking, women at all.
But the structure of what you're saying
But the
is
structure
important.
is real.
Right.
We are meant to be the foundation. Now, what happens to a home if the foundation shifts? The home.
Crumble.
It's at risk.
You ever seen?
It's at risk of falling.
You ever
That's what
seen
it's-
the houses that have cracks up the wall?
Yeah.
Cracks in the city. That's
Yes, sir.
because the foundation is shifting.
Right.
Right.
The foundation and the structure have to remain on point. And if it's not on point, it shifts. The family falls apart.
That started with the black father.
Right now. It's important for us to grow.
Yep.
It's important for us to communicate.
Yes.
And if we do not implement these things in our families, starting, if you haven't done it, start it now. If you're not doing it, start it now. Once you implement it and you start the communication, the positive communication,
Yes.
the positive just inputs in your children, and just speaking life into your world.
Speaking life. Did you hear what he
Watch
said?
how
Speaking
things
life.
start to change.
Mm-hmm.
Watch how the respect in the home starts to change from mom to dad to children to the parents to children to each other.
Yes.
It just starts with dialogue.
Communicate in a positive fashion. Communicate in a positive fashion. Support each other economically, financially. Don't put money over spending time with your children. We're running a little bit on, so I'm going to condense this down. But we are going to do the second episode next Sunday, same time at 2 o'clock. Forgive us for not holding our phones and not being able to answer the lives right here, right now.
Yeah,
but
I
it's
see-
because we
I
got
see-
3 or
I
4
see
lives
comments
going.
on
What's shit going on?
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
We will
Address it, yeah.
definitely we'll take a look and we'll get to some of the questions.
Somebody
real quick.
sent you something strong.
Same here. I had neither because I'm almost so black.
I'm scared to look at mine.
Man,
Wait a minute, Ghost. What you saying about it?
man?
I'm scared to look at mine.
Yeah.
Listen, any comments, man? Hey,
Inbox us.
Please share the video.
definitely. And can I say this?
Yes.
Can we keep it positive?
Yes.
Don't come with, oh, y'all acting like, no. This is all supposed to help build the kingdom.
And that's why we began with our mistakes. Because I done made a bunch of mistakes. I want to put the mistakes out there for the young black fathers. Because had I known some of the stuff I know now,
I would
my
not,
children, I think, would have benefited a little bit more from
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And remember that we are all examples every day for our entire people.
Definitely.
So
Yes, we are.
knowing that, you carry a different weight as you go. And remember, it's never the problem, but it's how you handle the problem. So if I make a mistake and I'm able to share it with someone else and say, listen, you don't make this same mistake, this is not going on enough. And that's why our young black males and even the girls now are falling down, are getting killed, are having mental issues left and right. Suicide is running rampant. This is our responsibility. He just said the black father is the foundation of the house. Like, this is real. We have to take ownership. Now, I was mad about the whole thing with police doing their thing and killing people in George Floyd. I can't stand that. But I got to take some ownership for us. We got to take some ownership. We ain't mad at Pookie done killed about 8 people out here. We got to handle everything at once. But if you don't respect yourself, bro, who's going to respect you?
Nobody.
So we have to start respecting ourselves, not just in our word, but in our deeds. And let me end this video by apologizing to anyone that I have ever wronged. If I have upset you, if I have offended you in any way in the past, please forgive me. I have had a level of arrogance in the past, being young and a little hot-headed. I want to apologize nationally to anybody I've ever wronged. Whatever I've done, let me get that out of the way now and say this is coming from a place of love and truth. We need our black father to stand up in the home and be the leader. Realize that you are created in their image. Did you hear what I said? You are created in their image, in the image of the creators. That means you house the light. That means any place you set your feet on is supposed to get better. Right there. I don't care if you at work, at school, at the club. I don't care where it is. You need to down the black nonsense and come up with the black creation. Straight up. I thank y'all for joining us. We're going to do the same thing again. Episode 2 next week, Sunday at 2. Gentlemen, I love you, brother. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Blessings and love. Good to
love.
see you.
Thank you.
We will put this on YouTube, I believe, and we'll get the format down a little bit more, y'all, and have fun with it. But please inbox us. Inbox either of these gentlemen. They have helped me a great deal. So any resources I have, I definitely am going to get to you all. And please shop with your people. This is so important.
Definitely. Support
Shop
your local black businesses.
Yes,
Sweet,
yes.
Hey, I got to give love to my brother Jermaine Lane, Sweet Tooth.
Yes.
Sweet Tooth Barbecue.
Most
I'm gonna definitely give love to him. I'm gonna give love to my boy Ghost. I so appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir. Same,
I
sir.
definitely appreciate you.
Same, sir.
And anybody that knows me knows I support any small business that's trying to get somewhere, especially our black businesses. I will push you out there. So if
Pop-up
you're trying
shop.
to do something, do it.
Pop-up shop July 2nd at Black Fridays, 3001 West Silver Springs Boulevard. We are hoping to pack it out this time, so you all come, have fun with your families. It's gonna be a good time.
And I
Support the
also
community.
want to plug for my people. Ghost is here in Ocala. You can see behind us right here. Black Fridays. I'm not sure the hours of service, but he's always here. So
Anytime.
Yeah, I have the information on my page.
Yes, sir.
You can order online, but you guys really should come check this
BlackFridays.com.
out. This is kind of one of my favorite spots. I think I'm gonna do a little shopping before I leave. Yeah, let them know I'm in
There you go.
in here.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, man, y'all make sure you come check us out right here at Black Fridays. This is Ghost House, man. Family, all love.
My
See
emotions
y'all
are
on
inside
the next road.
when I look into your eyes.
Peace, love, and blessings.
I just wanna make you proud. I just wanna make you smile.
I'm just scared to touch my phone.
Yeah.
Much love, y'all.
Hey, I appreciate y'all. Y'all share the video. We hope
I like that. Your heart is all I'm asking for. And I don't wanna give it back.
Black Father, the mini-series. Streaming every Sunday at 2 p.m. on Facebook Live. This mini-series is an attempt to bring more respect, more truth, more love and accountability into the home of the black family and community. Black Father will help with a multitude of issues. Black Father, streaming every Sunday at 2 p.m. on Facebook Live. Black Father, the mini-series.